Hello guys, I am Dr. Richard Ben. I'm telling you something real. Seniors, you wake up again. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., your eyes open, your body tired, your mind still on alert, and that same trip to the bathroom you didn't choose. You've tried everything, less water, earlier sleep, different routines, yet nothing changed, because the real cause was never where you were looking. Tonight, you're going to understand what's truly happening inside your body and why fixing it is simpler and more possible than you think. You wake up 1, 2, 3 times every night to go to the bathroom, even though you barely drank any water. And the next day, you wake up exhausted, with a heavy head, as if those hours in bed didn't help at all. I want you to know something that probably no one has explained to you clearly. The problem is almost never where you think it is. It's not your bladder, it's not your age, and it's not because you drink too much. The problem lies in something your body needs at night to function properly. Something it is silently lacking without showing clear signs during the day. And the most frustrating part is that you've already tried everything, haven't you? You stopped drinking water after 6 p.m., you went to bed earlier, maybe you even took something to help you sleep, and still, you woke up the same way. It's not that you didn't try. It's that you were treating the symptom, not the real cause. Today, I'm going to explain exactly which nutrient your body is missing, why almost no doctor checks it during routine exams, how to use it correctly, and what the most common mistake is that prevents it from working, even if you're already taking it. Stay until the end, because that mistake is the most important part of this entire video. I am Dr. Richard Ben. Every week, I share practical health information for older adults, without exaggerations and without empty promises. Let's begin. What you are experiencing has a medical name. It's called nocturia. Noc refers to night, and uria refers to urine. It means waking up during the night with the need to go to the bathroom. And although it is very common in people over 60, there is something important I want you to understand. Just because it's common does not mean it's normal. Just because many people experience it does not mean you have to accept living this way. Most people believe the problem is in the bladder. The logic seems obvious. If the bladder could hold more, they would sleep better. So they stop drinking water, reduce fluids from midday, try to hold it longer before going to bed, and yet they still wake up 2, 3, even 4 times. Why? Because they were looking in the wrong place. Let me explain the real mechanism with an image you'll never forget. Imagine you have an alarm system in your house. That alarm is so poorly calibrated that it goes off at anything, the wind, a distant noise, even a fly passing near the sensor. Every time it sounds, you think something is wrong. You get up, you check, and there's nothing. The alarm isn't detecting real danger. It's just overly sensitive. That is exactly what happens in the body of people who wake up at night. The nervous system becomes so sensitive, so alert, that it reacts excessively to any signal, including a bladder that only has a small amount of urine, something that could easily wait until morning. And there is one factor that makes everything worse. When your sleep is light and shallow, when you never reach deep restorative sleep, anything can wake you up. A small noise, a passing thought, a mild sensation, or that slight pressure in the bladder. Not because the bladder is full, but because the brain never fully switched off, never lowered its guard enough to ignore signals that are not urgent. When sleep is truly deep, the brain does something extraordinary. It turns off non-urgent signals. The bladder may contain some urine, the brain is aware of it, but it chooses not to wake you because it's not necessary yet. That's what should happen. That's what used to happen when you were 40 years old. What we are trying to do is not force the body to hold more. What we want is to restore the brain's ability to decide. To understand the solution, you need to understand what happens inside the body when you lie down to sleep. When you go to bed, your body should begin what doctors call the process of nighttime inhibition. It's similar to turning off a car engine. Gradually, the temperature drops, the heart rate slows, blood pressure decreases, the nervous system stops sending alert signals, and the body can finally enter that deep sleep that truly restores it. But in many older adults, that slowdown process doesn't happen properly. The engine never fully turns off. The nervous system stays active, stays in alert mode, even when the body is lying down and the eyes are closed. And in that constant state of alertness, everything feels urgent. A half-full bladder feels full. A distant noise feels close. A small thought turns into worry. The body doesn't rest, it stays on guard. Why does this happen? There are several reasons that often combine. Accumulated stress from the day, late-night screen use, sugar, afternoon coffee, constant worry. But there is another reason, silent, painless, and unnoticed during the day, that changes everything at night. A reason related to something the body is lacking, something so small it could fit in a spoon. I'm talking about vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. Now pause for a moment. Before jumping to conclusions, listen carefully. I'm not telling you that vitamin B1 is a magic pill that will make you sleep 8 hours straight on the first night. That doesn't exist, and I won't promise that. What I'm telling you is something much more realistic and more interesting. Vitamin B1 has an essential role in the body. It acts as a cofactor that the nervous system needs to produce cellular energy efficiently. But more importantly for what we're discussing, thiamine is directly involved in the synthesis of GABA neurotransmitter, the brain's main inhibitory neurotransmitter. GABA is literally the brake of the nervous system. It allows the brain to slow down at night. It makes deep sleep possible and sustainable. When vitamin B1 levels are adequate, GABA is produced properly, and the nervous system can regulate itself. But when B1 levels are low, that braking system doesn't work well. Signals fire uncontrollably. The nervous system cannot calm down, and at night, that becomes a real problem. Think of it this way. Imagine an orchestra. When all the musicians play at the right time and at the right volume, the result is beautiful, harmonious music. But if some instruments start playing when they shouldn't, too loud at the wrong moment, the result is noise. That's exactly what happens to the nervous system when it lacks vitamin B1. The instruments start playing when they shouldn't. Nerve signals fire at night when they should be silent, and one of those unnecessary signals is the one coming from the bladder. And why does this deficiency happen in so many older adults without anyone noticing? There are 4 main reasons, and they often occur together. First, with age, the small intestine reduces its ability to absorb water-soluble vitamins, and B1 is one of the most affected. Second, regular consumption of sugar, coffee, and alcohol depletes thiamine reserves much faster than normal because the body uses it to metabolize those substances. Third, certain very common medications in older adults, especially some loop diuretics like furosemide, increase the urinary loss of thiamine directly. And fourth, almost no doctor routinely tests vitamin B1 levels during standard checkups, so the deficiency can go unnoticed for years while nighttime function continues to decline. I want you to understand how this works, because once you do, you'll know exactly what to expect, and you won't feel frustrated if nothing dramatic happens in the first few days. Vitamin B1 does not act like a sleeping pill. It doesn't make you drowsy, it doesn't sedate you, and it doesn't shut the body down artificially. Its function is different and much deeper. What vitamin B1 does is restore the nervous system's ability to regulate itself, to reduce noise, to silence signals that are not urgent. When that ability returns, the body can finally enter the deep sleep it truly needs, not because it was forced, but because the nervous system regained its natural biological calm. And when sleep becomes deeper, something completely natural happens. The brain stops reacting to minor signals. The bladder may contain some urine, and the brain simply says, "It's not urgent, I'm not waking up." That's how it's supposed to work. And this is exactly what people who have corrected this deficiency begin to notice over time. Not. It's not that people suddenly sleep 8 hours on the first night. The change is gradual and real. One night, they notice that after getting up to use the bathroom, they fall back asleep in 10 minutes instead of staying awake for an hour. Another night, they wake up twice instead of 4 times. And after a few weeks, the first full nights begin to appear. They look at the clock and it says 5 a.m., and instead of going to the bathroom, they turn over and fall back asleep. That's the body recovering what it had lost. Now comes the most important part of this video. Many people hear about vitamin B1, go to the pharmacy, buy any version, take it at any time, and after 2 days say it didn't work at all. It's not that it doesn't work, it's that they used it incorrectly. Listen carefully to these 4 key points. Key 1. Timing. Prepare the system. Don't stimulate it. Vitamin B1 should not be taken right before bed. It should be taken in the afternoon or early evening, about 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Why? Because the goal is not to shut the body down at that moment. The goal is that by the time you go to bed, the nervous system has already been winding down for a couple of hours. If you take it too late, your body may process it right when you're trying to fall asleep, which can create the opposite effect of what you want. Key 2. Dosage. The right amount, not excess. The most common mistake with any supplement is thinking that more is better. With vitamin B1, it doesn't work that way. The body doesn't need a huge dose. It needs the right amount to help the nervous system regulate again. The doses studied for this purpose are moderate, generally between 50 and 100 milligrams per day in its standard form. If you prefer benfotiamine, which has better bioavailability and crosses the blood-brain barrier